Stranger Things Season 3 has finally hit TV screens everywhere, and it feels like we've been left with more questions than answers. Like, seriously, where is this guy? And what really happened to him? And just why do people even still live in Hawkins? Just leave already! Welcome back to The Binger, guys, and in today's video we're going to be pulling apart the ending of Stranger Things Season 3, and looking ahead to the potential Season 4 and the theories that are surrounding it. So, if you've somehow managed to click on this video and you've not seen Season 3, and you don't want it ruined for you, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, that's 3 times we've warned you. Now let's go.
What's wrong?
At the end of Season 2, we saw it lurking in the Upside Down with the knowledge of the gang's whereabouts and the fact that 11 had powers. Season 3 saw the dreaded Mind Flayer return with a vengeance. So how did it get back through the gate? Well, the Russians are to blame for that one. With the use of a big, powerful machine thingy, more on that later, they opened the gate to the Upside Down, allowing the Mind Flayer to creep back on through, construct a body for itself out of melted rats and people, and then attack the gang. After a big showdown in the Starcourt Mall, which is a real mall by the way, fun fact, the Mind Flayer's defeated, but is it gone forever? Well, its physical form is certainly thwarted thanks to Joyce closing the gate and trapping it once again in the Upside Down, but is it gone forever? Well, no, it's not very likely. The Mind Flayer that we see in Season 3 is pieced together from gooey, melted tissue, which suggests that it could easily do this again and inhabit our world. In other words, it lives in the Upside Down and can jump across to our reality whenever the gate is open. So, if you want to defeat it for good, you're probably going to have to A, close the gate for good, or B, defeat it on its own turf. Option A hasn't worked, so
I'm going with option B.
So, this storyline actually proved one of our own theories right. Please see Stranger Things Season 3 Upside Down theories that make sense for reference. And yeah, our smug faces look a little something like this right now. After being consumed by the Mind Flayer a la Venom from the Marvel Universe, Billy becomes instrumental in its return to form. And throughout Season 3, Billy is worse than ever. But, like we saw with Will in Season 2, even if the Mind Flayer takes over your body, your consciousness is still rattling around somewhere inside there. We see this briefly in the sauna scene with Billy as it seems that the intense heat draws out the real Billy, who begins to apologize for all of his atrocious actions to Max. The most important scene though, with regards to explaining Billy's eventual redemption, is where 11 enters the Upside Down and sees Billy when he was a child with his mother. With the knowledge and memories that she collects here, she's able to call out Billy's consciousness just in time in his final scene. Coming to, Billy ultimately realizes that he is the bad guy and decides to sacrifice himself for 11 in the group. He may have been the quintessential bad guy throughout, but when it matters, we see that he clearly understands what is good and what is evil, and he chooses good. Oh, Billy. Who knew that behind that perm and toplessness, you were a guardian angel all along? A little unorthodox, we'll admit. We all wished that Joyce and Hopper were going to get together in Season 3. And at first, Joyce's loyalty to Bob and the fact that she sometimes found Hopper annoying was going to stop any chance of romance between them. But as the season progresses, we clearly see that the partnership can work. There's even talk of Joyce becoming a detective for the local law enforcement. Probably a joke, but a role that would totally suit the determined supermom. But it doesn't seem that the Duffer Brothers want Joyce to be happy since Hopper dies when the gate is closed and the machine that opened it explodes. Okay, so we could just accept this, but where's the fun in that? Another way to look at this is that Hopper didn't die, but he's gonna come back for Season 4. Picture it. Just as the machine is about to explode, Hopper realizes that his only way to survive is to jump through the gateway into the Upside Down. Yeah, sure, he'd be trapped there for a while, but if the show's track record is anything to go by, someone's surely going to open the gate again shortly after. We've seen Eleven move carriages and rip apart monsters with her mind. But due to the emotional and physical toils of Season 3, the ending suggests that she may have lost her powers for good, since she fails to move something as insignificant as a small teddy bear with her mind. With the Duffer Brothers saying that a potential Season 4 and even a Season 5 could be on the books, this feels like the show's creators are keeping their options open. Even Mike says,
"They'll come back. I know they will."
Yeah, we'll figure out whether or not we're gonna do another season and then we'll go from there. But I guess it kind of gives us closure for now. I mean, Eleven can finally live a normal life away from Hawkins with no powers and a loving mother in Joyce. Maybe she'll be called back into action the next time Hawkins is in danger and her powers will be reignited. Ah yes, there's nothing quite like a post-credit sequence to make online forums explode with fan theories. But what does it all mean? Well, it's never really explained in Season 3 why the Russians want to open the gate into the Upside Down. I mean, they spend tons of time, money, and resources constructing a huge electromagnetic laser device that can blast the gate to the Upside Down and open it. So having it open is clearly of massive importance. But why? We can only assume that the Russians are trying to weaponize whatever lurks in the shadows of the Upside Down, be it the Mind Flayer, an army of Demodogs, or, as the post-credit sequence suggests, their very own Demogorgon. Earlier on in the season, Erica notices that the Russians have a large cage in their underground lab, presumably to catch something from beyond the gate. And who's to say that they've not already caught hundreds, if not thousands of creatures from the Upside Down, and they've got them stockpiled like an army of the underworld. And it's also mentioned that there's more than one gate that the Russians are working on extracting things from. So the one in Hawkins is likely just the tip of the iceberg. A huge indication that the Russians plan to weaponize the Upside Down's creatures is the fact that a prisoner is fed to a Demogorgon in the post-credit scene. Keeping a monster topped on human flesh is a sure way to condition it for destruction. One of the biggest mysteries though is the other prisoner. As a helpless man is dragged out of a cell and fed to the Demogorgon, we hear a soldier say, meaning don't feed that prisoner to the Demogorgon, at least not yet. So who is this American? They're certainly significant enough for the Duffer Brothers to write them into the script. There are already tons of theories being chucked around online as to who this could be. The biggest, most exciting theory is that it could be Hopper. Remember when we said that he could have jumped through the gate to survive? Well, maybe the Russians found him hiding in the Upside Down before anyone else did. And we know the American could refer to any American. But throughout Season 3, Hopper is spitefully referred to by the Russians simply as the American. And don't forget, unlike many of the other key characters who meet their demise in the show, we don't actually see it happen to Hopper. I mean, with him being such a key player in the plot, we would have obviously witnessed his disintegration, even though it would have been brutal. If he is still alive, it probably would take away at least a little bit of the punch of Hopper's final letter that's read by Eleven. Who knew a door being opened 3 inches could result in such colossal crying? What an iconic send-off. Was it better than I Love You 3000 and Hold the Door? We'll let you decide. Comment below if you dare. A totally different theory, however, suggests that the American could be none other than Martin Brenner. Oh yeah, Elle's papa from Season 1. We're still not 100% sure whether Brenner met his end in Season 1 or not. I mean, it is alluded to in Season 2 that he may still be alive. So what if he ended up in the clutches of the Russians and they're keeping him prisoner? It could be a stretch, but it would certainly make for a dramatic return in Season 4. Who knows, maybe he'll team up with the gang and help take the Russians down. Is there another bad guy, Billy-esque redemption coming? With the show's popularity, it's pretty likely that Season 4 is gonna happen. Netflix hasn't officially signed off on it yet, but the show makers have pretty much confirmed it, especially when you consider the massively suggestive post-credit sequence. But I guess there is a chance the Duffer Brothers could just call it quits. What, with a not-so-young cast looking to explore their own careers, right? We waited almost 2 years for Season 3 to come out, so we could be looking at a similar gap for Season 4, which would bring us right to mid-2021, and most of the young ensemble being 18 or older. There is, however, the possibility that the Duffer Brothers could explore the Stranger Things universe without the usual gang we're used to. I know, shock and horror, but with so many unanswered questions, the plot could shoot off in so many unexplored directions. Like, remember 8 and her gang of misfits? What happened to them? And who's to say that there's no more test subjects scattered throughout the world? And with the Russians seemingly having their fingers in a lot of other upside-down pies, the disaster of Hawkins could go global. And it's made clear from the news report at the end of Season 3 that the rest of the world is aware of the weird goings-on in Hawkins. So if something were to happen on the other side of the planet, the Duffer Brothers wouldn't have to start from scratch. The world is already aware that something fishy is going on. But then there's the question of the small-town setting, and if the calamity of the Upside Down was taken to, let's say, New York, would it still be the same? Let's not forget, fans pretty much unanimously agree that the episode where 11 meets 8 in Season 2, which is the one where the plot moved away from Hawkins, was one of the worst episodes of the series. Maybe this is an indication that the show must maintain its small-town vibe if it's gonna work in the future. But we guess the flip side is, how many times can Hawkins keep getting attacked until it all becomes a bit too predictable? Sure, they've managed to cram plenty of memorable moments and characters into Hawkins for 3 seasons, but would a 4th season stretch things just a little bit too thin? Would retracing their steps be unavoidable for the Duffer Brothers? True, we probably would prefer to stick with the gang that we've watched grow up, but expanding the universe even further with more settings and characters would extend the shelf life of Stranger Things drastically. I guess the million-dollar question is, would that ruin what the Duffer Brothers have already created? So, what do you think of Stranger Things Season 3? Do you think Hopper is still alive? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Binger for more awesome videos like this one. See you next time.